Coming up on Cricket Safari, the fireworks from Abu Dhabi, MI Emirates, Nicholas Pooran and Tim David. Getting to know the Spicemen a little better. And next up, we have the curse of the hitting zone. And we're going to reveal that a little later.
Yeah. You got to commit to it then.
Yeah, you have to commit. You have to back yourself, back your hand-eye coordination. If you
A quick turnaround for MI Emirates. They won by 18 runs. Tim David with the bat and Farooqi with the ball really stitched that win together for MI Emirates. Much needed win and them bouncing back. And joining me on the show today is Darren Ganga and Tim David. Tim, thank you so much for joining us. Quick turnaround for you guys and really bouncing back and getting that win.
Yeah, it's really important for us to start off the tournament, get our first win. Sometimes it's nice to play games back to back, you know, if you have things you want to correct from the previous game, so you can get a little bit of that flow, a little bit of that momentum. So yeah, we're really happy.
I want to come to your innings, but before that, I want to talk about Nicholas Pooran, your captain, and how incredible was his innings.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the ball swung a lot today, a lot more than we might have expected. It swung late into the innings. So yeah, it was really great for Nicky to put an innings together like that. He probably missed out on a little bit of the fun time at the end. So you know, getting out to a full toss there, but it was a great innings from him. Set the platform for us and gave us a chance to get to a good total.
Absolutely.
MI Emirates, of course, you mentioned, Tim, the wrongs that transpired in the last game. You seem to sort of correct it perfectly in this innings. Nicholas Pooran spoke about the middle phase and the need to consolidate when you last played against the Capitals. And he was so good in terms of absorbing pressure and then building a nice platform for you to come and really show your skills and class in the back end of the innings.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a lot actually over the last day since our last game about putting a partnership together, maybe a period where it was tough. Taking a bit deeper. So, you know, the boys, that partnership with Fletcher, even though he might not have scored as quickly as he wanted to, the fact that we could take the innings a little bit deeper gave us a really good opportunity to launch from there when the conditions came back to in our favour a little bit. So, yeah, just a really important innings from those boys. And I think it's really important that we summed up the conditions and were able to assess, because we're going to be playing in different grounds here in the UAE, and conditions can change.
And Tim, did you feel the pressure, or what were your thoughts coming in?
No pressure at that point. You get a great opportunity to be able to showcase and what I can do, and that's what I train really hard for. So, you know, really pleased to be able to put a performance together. And again, in a winning cause, just makes it feel really good.
Like in a situation like that, is it a case of you targeting a particular bowler or looking at the sort of dimensions of the ground and saying to yourself, hey, listen, this is where I'm going to try to score a boundary?
Yeah, I think it's understanding your own strengths. So sometimes it might take a couple of balls to get in to be able to see the ball really well. Fortunately, I might have got an early boundary, and you can take that momentum with you. Yeah, the ground dimensions come into it a little bit, but you've got to react to what the bowler's bowling, and obviously they're going to be trying to defend away from maybe shorter boundaries. So you've got to be aware of what they're trying to do, but at the same time stick to your strengths.
And it helps playing alongside Chris Jordan in the BBL, and you having to face him in the last over.
Oh yeah, you know, it does help when you see guys a lot, when you play against guys a lot. But you know, CJ's had such a good season for us over in the BBL, so maybe an opportunity for me to get one back on him. Yeah, you know, he's a class bowler, so to be able to get a good performance against the best players is really satisfying.
And do you know that you got the biggest six of the tournament?
Well, I just got presented the award just before, so you know, that's a nice one. I can pin it on my badge just here next to MI Emirates. So yeah, I'll be letting the boys know.
So how much time you spend on sort of range hitting and hitting the ball out the park? Is that a major part of your preparation to play T20 cricket?
Yeah, absolutely it is. Especially for my position in the middle order, sometimes I've got to come in, I've got to move the game forwards. So that's a big part of my game. If I can put bowls under pressure, then that's a really important part of it. So yeah, there's obviously other elements. Sometimes you have to come in and rebuild. Batting in the middle order, you kind of have the game presented to you, and you have to be able to play in different situations. But when you get the green light today like that to try and get a score up there for the boys, yeah, it's really nice to not miss out.
Well, he was really feral as a wild card player for MI Emirates. You delivered today.
And how good was the bowling effort, Farooqi?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that was really important today. Like, we won the really important moment. So for Farooqi to come back in that second spell, I think it was the second last over there when the Golf Giants had so much momentum there. They just had a big over previously, and he took the wicket of Jamie Overton, who was hitting it everywhere. Then the run out of obviously Heady, that's so important to get the two set batters out. So yeah, that kind of really sealed it for us, because we're under the pump there in the back end of the innings.
How significant was imparting knowledge and sharing information whilst you guys bowled in the back end of the innings. I saw yourself, Dwayne Bravo, constantly exchanging information and communicating with Faruqi as well.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more information coming from the experienced head of DJ, and from me, just a few more like comical quips, maybe keep the bowler relaxed. So yeah, you can ask Trent about what we're talking about, but yeah, maybe sharing some little tactics, things you've seen against different guys, or what a good option might be. But yeah, the experienced head's there is DJ, so he's the death bowling aficionado. Yeah.
Well, Tim, you also stole the player of the match from Faruqi.
Yeah, you know, hey. I just all I can say is I didn't pick the player of the match. So for everyone out there watching, it wasn't my choice.
Well, it's the first time Faruqi picked up 4 wickets as well. I mean, if you had to face a bowler like Faruqi, how would you try to counter him?
Yeah, well, again, you've got to stick to your strengths, right? But I think something Faruqi's, he's short, he's skiddy, so he can be tough to get under. Yeah, to be honest, I don't try and do too much against bowlers. I just try and react to what they're bowling against, and that's when I play my best. Yeah, he took a few gambles there, bowling at the stumps, and he came off today. So he's got different options. He's got pace off. He's got stuff like that. He's playing on my team, so I don't have to worry about that until next time I come up against him.
And now, where does the MI Emirates go from here? Can they take this win and keep going for the rest of the tournament?
Absolutely, we're here to win. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly when our next game is. Maybe in a couple of days, backing up. But it's great to get a win here at our home ground. We're going to be playing most of our games here, so yeah, perfect start.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations and great stuff for you guys today.
Thank you. Yeah, awesome.
And joining us now on the studio is Natalie Germanos. Natalie, slightly. She's getting here. She's getting here.
Yeah, we call it African time in South Africa. We're sometimes a little bit on the late side.
Well, how incredible was MI Emirates today?
I'll be very happy with that. There was a lot of lessons they needed to learn from last night, in particular from a batting perspective. And having spoken to the captain at the toss, he did say that, is it was really important to make sure that they didn't allow for obviously the batting collapses and make sure that they started to accelerate when it was required. And I think they did that really well tonight. And it just shows you experience for one. We heard that from Tim David. He spoke about the experience of the likes of Dwayne Bravo, obviously the captain, Nicholas Pooran as well. And it just shows you how well they adapted to a pitch that was very different to what we saw last night.
Another player that I want to talk about, Indian veteran Ambati Raidu. How good. I mean, rolling back the years really, and technically I think that partnership with Pooran was what gave them the momentum. Yeah,
it was a 50-run partnership, and the good thing about him, he's got a lot of experience, so he can play the situation well. And the situation required him to get a move on straight away. He got a couple boundaries, and then he allowed Nicholas Pooran to play his natural game. After they were in early sort of trouble, that partnership, as Tim David spoke, with Andre Fletcher was critical to allow Ambati Raidu to come and play the way he did. Got a beauty from Chris Jordan, though.
He did get a beauty from Chris Jordan. We speak about experience. Does he know how to bowl in this format? That is for sure. And I think, again, it just shows you this amazing contest that we have. Ambati Raidu, talking about rolling back the years, he himself is so experienced, having played all over the world, and it's good to see him obviously back again. And we didn't see the best of him last night, but tonight you can see what he adds to that lineup.
True. And now let's talk a little bit about the Giants. Defending champions didn't really go their way today. What went wrong?
Well, I still think they need to find some consistency with their batting beyond their top 3. They've had a lot of output from the likes of Vince, the likes of Smith, even Cox as well. But that middle order, Shimon Hetmyer hasn't really fired. They're putting a lot of pressure on their all-rounders. So maybe that's an area that they need to focus on. Again, I think they left a lot of runs for too late. They needed, 71 in the last 5. To me, when you're in a run chase, you want to score the bulk of the runs up top and in the middle and not make it so difficult for your middle to lower order to finish the game. And that is what happened. They backloaded the innings and then found that rate of about 15 very difficult to keep up with. And with the experience of the bowling we saw from MI Emirates, it was always going to be difficult when you have that type of required rate to contend with.
True, and of course, talking about some positives, Mujib was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, another experienced player, obviously. He also does enjoy the format. It seems to really suit him too. And it was just good to see that he used the surface so well. Now, have a look at the lengths that he bowled. That was the important thing. He was able to assess what was the right lines for the different batters, but he always hit the good length. And it was a surface that initially we spoke so much about the bounce, the swing, and what the seamers were generally getting. But he also got a little something off the surface. Have a look at that. That has gone off the surface quite quickly, skidded on, and he got a little bit of grip too. So it just shows you he definitely looked at the surface and said, I can get something out of it. And he assessed it and got what he needed out of it.
And of course, that Jordan breaking that stump, I quite enjoyed that moment.
Well, it showed the pace that he bowls. You think with his run-up and the way he ambles in that he's not able to extract excessive pace. But if you look at majority of his deliveries, he was clocking 140, 140 plus. So it wasn't surprising to me that he was able to break that middle stump. And that might probably be a memorabilia item for him.
The amazing thing about Jordan is that we had a look at him a couple of years back. He's getting quicker as he's getting older. And he did say that it's got to do with his fitness regime. He's worked a lot in terms of being healthy, eating healthy, and also working on yoga as well. He says he uses that quite a lot too. But he's actually gotten quicker as he's gotten older, which is not something you often say of bowlers in particular that are in their 30s. Maybe somebody who's in the early 20s possibly, then they start refining the craft and maybe get a little bit quicker. But he's actually gotten a little bit quicker. And it just shows you, as you said, pace that he's got behind him is very, very crucial from his point of view.
I guess we say age is just a number, so some of these guys are proving that. And talking about the batting, of course, James Wynne's getting that 50, good score, but not quite enough for his team today.
Yeah, again, I reflect on how well both himself and Smith, they've been at the top of the order. Usually they give the innings a jump start, as they did today again. He's such an important part of this batting lineup that the team relies on him to bat deep into the innings. I just feel that there was a little bit of slowing down with the DRS reviews that sort of took away the tempo from the innings, and that could affect a team. It did affect the Gulf Giants, and you must also give credit to Dwayne Bravo and that over that he bowled when he got the wicket of Vince. That to me was the turning point in this run chase, and the game shifted in favour of MI Emirates.
Yeah, it's interesting that some of the points that Darren has picked up on in terms of the Gulf Giants and the consistency within that batting lineup. James Vince did his job. He is a fantastic player. He's been in form as well, and he's so good at getting off to quick starts, which is not always easy. It's not exactly alarm bell times for the Gulf Giants yet, but it's very hard to find rhythm as a batter in a franchise competition because you don't have time for training in between. These games come thick and fast. So they're going to have to look at it and say, all right, how do we tweak this and tweak it quickly so that it doesn't continue in this rhythm for the rest of the tournament?
Well, that's what we get at the DP World ILT20. We get up close and personal with a lot of the players, and we caught up with Spiceman, Andre Fletcher, and let's see what he had to say.
You put me on the spot. Bangalore is my favorite place for sure because of the wicket, outfield, boundary is small, and also shopping as well. You get everything on your doorstep. I love Bangalore. Ice cream. Oh boy, yeah, that's just an icebreaker, but you put me on the spot. I got so much. Fun, everything. Everyone knows me for my smiling also. I think I have $1 million smile. Maybe one day I'll get to be on a Colgate toothpaste brand.
Wow, Spiceman. What is it, ice cream?
Yeah.
I would like some ice cream.
He hails from Grenada in the Caribbean, of course known for its nutmeg, and that's where he picked up the name Spiceman because they're known for their spices in that part of the world. Very, very humble guy, very personable as well, so he's quite an infectious sort of character.
And what do you think? The Spiceman is quite a fun personality when you see him off as well, and when he's on there with his teammates, he's always having such a fun time.
Yeah, he does look like he has a fun time, doesn't he? And as you said, he's a very humble character as well. He's quite openly spoken about the fact that he'd love to work on his strike rate as well. And I think he's starting to find ways to do that. And once he gets a measure of some of the surfaces as well and gets into a bit of a rhythm, I think we'll see those fireworks from him.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, you guys. It was great. Now we're going to take a short break, and on the other side, you're going to see that duck, Jordan Cox. Hello and welcome back to DP World ILT20. Joining me are Rohan Gavaskar and Simon Duell. Simon, I saw you talking to Darren Ganga earlier, but then we need to chat about the situation. There's a lot going on. Tell us about it.
Yeah, the curse of the demonstration mat, I think we're going to call it from now on. In game number one, Darren Ganga was doing a little demonstration with Shimron Hetmeyer and picked up all of his bats, put the curse on the bats. He went out there, faced one ball, got out LBW, and I think I've done the same thing with Jordan Cox today.
Well, I'll tell you,
it's not been good.
I'll tell you what, Tanvi, when Shimron Hetmeyer did get out on that first delivery, the first person to give stick to Dan Ganga was a certain Mr. Simon Duell.
Yeah.
The first person to give stick to DG.
I feel like we need to see this chat over here. Like, what happened? We need to see exactly what went down. We were supposed to give insights, but have we, like, created a curse?
Listen, I'll tell you this, Tanvi. The next person who agrees to do that demonstration thing, the next player who agrees to it is a brave player.
We're only going to get probably someone who's outside the squad and not going to play, I think, from now on. But well, give us another chance. Give us another chance. Just implore the players to give us another chance or two.
Well, I think we'd like to see what this chat was all about. Let's take a look.
Well, so much short-form cricket is all about innovation, batting innovation. One of the bright young stars of franchise cricket, of English cricket. Jordan Cox alongside me to talk us through a little bit about it. Jordy, first and foremost, how you enjoyed the first game of the ILT20? How was it for you?
Yeah, it's been great actually. Yeah, it's been really good. Obviously South Africa last year, so IL this year. It's been really good fun. Obviously it's beautiful to play in Dubai. I had a lot of memories here in T10 not long ago, so it's been really good.
You were very good at this ground on the T10. Your innovation, where does that come from? Is it something that's always come easy for you, the reverse sweeps, the reverse hooks, those sorts of things? Have you always worked hard on that?
Yeah, for sure. I think growing up playing hockey at my school, Felsted, working hard there, playing a bit of hockey, just trying all the sports whilst you're young. So, and then you see someone like Maxwell, you see these people do it on TV and you're like, why not try it in the nets? You hit a few in the nets and you're like, come on then, let's actually put it to the test and do it in the game, and when it comes off, feels really good.
What are the keys to it? I'm just getting your stance for us here. What are the keys, if you're going to look to reverse hook, reverse sweep, a quick bowler in particular, what are the keys for you?
Yeah, so obviously it's normally field determined.
Yep. So thirds up in the circle, maybe backward points up?
Yeah, if they're both up, I'm thinking, okay, well, if they're all out on this side, the leg side, I'm thinking he's probably going to bowl into the wicket, slower ball, somewhere. So if I get myself set in my normal position and I set pretty square on,
right.
I know that all I have to do is get it over the 30-yard circle. So depending if it's pace on, you know, you're just trying to get your bat in a way where you can just ramp it off. But if it's slower ball like the other night with Woksey, I've had to generate pace.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I've gone to generate the pace and it's just clipped my glove. So
you kind of threw the shot before the ball had got there.
Yeah, definitely. So it's all about trying to, you know, if your head's still, it's like in any shot. If your head's still, you've got a better chance of, you know, doing a lot better than if you're not.
Do you ever worry about it, straight in the grill? I mean, do you ever worry about one just jumping up and hitting you in the face or anything?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of those where if you don't practice it in the nets, you're always going to be in this position where you're getting a bit nervous.
Yeah. You got to commit to it then.
Yeah, you have to commit. You have to back yourself, back your hand-eye coordination. If you do that, you've got more of a chance of hitting it for sure.
All right, and on these bigger grounds with the fast outfields, are you looking to hit it aerial more often or are you looking to keep it down?
I think this shot's so high risk. You have to look. You know, you're taking 4 or 6. You're not just. It's weird because a reverse sweep to spin for me personally is a straight drive for 1. So I'm taking that shot. I can go along the ground, I can go aerial, depending on field. But this shot is very, very risky to take just for 1.
Young boys and girls watching, wanting to practice this in the nets. How hard do they have to work? What do they have to do?
It's just all about, you know, taking the time and effort to actually doing it, even if it's, let's say, Incrediballs or tennis balls to start, and get that confidence, you know, building, and then take it into a game and accept that you can fail, as I've done plenty of times.
All right, Jordan, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. Look forward to more of that throughout the rest of the tournament from you. Cheers, buddy.
Thank you very much.
From what we saw earlier today to what actually happened, Simon, I cannot. You really have to show us the stats. What happened there?
Well, look, I mean, the one the other day you got out to, today you got out for a golden duck, just inside edging one on. But Rowan's got a good story actually about trying to do it yourself.
Yeah, listen, Simon asked him, have you ever got hit on the grill? I remember trying this shot in 1995 or 1996 because the coach then, Balwinder Singh Sandhu, said, Rohan, try this shot. I'm going to ask Ajit Agarkar to pitch it up and try playing the shot. Ajit Agarkar pitched it short as I completely expected him to do. I got hit on my chin, I think was bleeding. But what I want to say is that Balwinder Singh Sandhu was so far ahead of his time at that point. So in 1996, you say, try this shot out. Didn't work out. I never tried it again in my career. But when I look back now and I see these guys playing these kinds of shots, I think he was just so far ahead of his time.
And it's something to, I mean, they do practice. They practice it all the time. And as Jordan said, it'll get you out now and then, but it's also a great run scoring option. He's not the only one. We've got plenty in this tournament that we'll see trying to do the same thing throughout.
So Rohan, are you going to be next giving us the insight? And hopefully the curse is going to be reversed.
No, I think I'm going to leave it to the experts, Darren and Simon. I think it's going to be Darren and Simon who will be doing the demos more often than not.
You know, I want to quickly look ahead to tomorrow's game. That is the Dubai Capitals taking on the Sharjah Warriors. Thoughts on that, boys?
Well, I think it's going to be a good game. Sharjah Warriors need a win. They were bottom of the table last season. They haven't started this season as well as they would have liked. They played one, lost one. Capitals, on the other hand, looked excellent in their one outing. So I think it's going to be a tough task for the Warriors, but cricket's a funny game.
Complete change for the Warriors. They've gone very all-rounder heavy this year. They got rid of probably 6 or 5 of their top 6 from last year. Kept only one, Tom Kohler-Cadmore, so a new captain. To me, I think they need to bounce back. They need to find a way to win. All-rounders have got to stand up.
Well, I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining us. It was a great evening of cricket that we had, and join us tomorrow for all the live coverage and action that's coming your way. It's goodbye from Abu Dhabi.